Hey, movie fan. So this is my review for Mortal Kombat 2, which I saw when it came out in theaters. When it comes to me as a Mortal Kombat fan, I'm a big fan of the video games, and I love the original '90s Mortal Kombat film. That's like still to me one of the top video game movies. It's a movie that I love and go back and rewatch constantly. The 2021 Mortal Kombat movie, the first one of these new ones, I thought was terrible. I did not like that movie. When it comes to Mortal Kombat 2, the sequel to the new one, overall I thought this was a solid, entertaining, fun movie. I don't think it's great. There's some negatives with this movie. There's definitely a flawed movie. When it comes to the negatives with this movie, I will say this: there's definitely like you can poke holes into the plot of this movie, especially when they're going from location to one location. There's definitely like plot holes in this movie. This movie's definitely cheesy and over the top, and sometimes the humor didn't always land for me. So the tone is kind of all over the place at times. And when it comes to Carl Urban as Johnny Cage, I liked him as Johnny Cage. I didn't love him as Johnny Cage. My favorite version of Johnny Cage is still the original '90s movie. Just to me, I think that acting in the original '90s movie brought so much fun to the character. And then just Johnny Cage, I would say, is less fun and kind of since he's an older Johnny Cage, he's washed up. He's kind of like doesn't have much confidence in himself. So this isn't like my favorite version of Johnny Cage. I don't think Caldwell was bad as Johnny Cage though, and I do think overall he was a fun character. I still think the '90s Johnny Cage film version is to me personally my favorite film version of the character. And overall, I did like his like story of him having to become a hero. When it comes to negatives though, there's like I said, there's stuff you can like poke holes in the story of this movie. And I do think some characters don't get a whole lot to do. I think most characters get the moments to shine in this movie. There's some characters though, like Shang Tsung, who I feel like the first movie, I just think the actor's bland in the role, and he kind of is undermined in this movie. So he doesn't really. I don't find him a compelling villain. They only give him anything to work with in this movie. And the character of Cole, which I didn't really care for his character in the first movie, he gets killed off, which I'm not shocked by that. You didn't see the character much in the trailers, and I had a feeling he was going to get killed off. He has a decent fight with Sean Khan. Overall, though, I still didn't really care for his character. I just thought he was like. I have no problem with the idea of creating an original character for a video game movie. That's not my problem with Cole from the first movie. The problem with Cole from the first movie was that he just wasn't a very interesting character to me. He was a very dull, boring character. His powers weren't really all that cool to me. It's like to me, if you want to create a whistle character for video game movies, that's fine. Just make the character interesting. And the Cole character, I had a feeling like he was probably gonna get killed off in this movie because he just nobody really cared for his character or liked his character. So I'm not shocked his character got killed off. I like the actor, and I think they said that it sounds like there's a chance he could come back if they do a third one. Which I don't know if this movie's gonna do well enough to get a third one personally. So I mean, I think it would be cool to see him come back as a different character, like have him actually play a character from the game. I'll be excited for that because I like the actor. I just think the character of Cole wasn't very interesting, so I wasn't surprised he got killed off in this movie. And there's just there's just certain flaws you can find with this movie story wise, and the plot isn't the deepest in the world. It's a movie about a tournament, so I think this is the type of movie where it's like cheesy, over the top, fun, and entertaining. At the same time, though, if you're not somebody who really loves the Mortal Kombat games and you're just like a casual movie person, I don't think you're gonna have as much fun with this movie like I did because how like cheesy it is and how many holes you can notice in the plot and story and everything like that. The tone is a little all over the place in this movie, so sometimes it's really cheesy, sometimes it's serious. So I can admit the tone isn't completely work at times in this movie because there are times with the humor where I was like, that didn't always land for me personally. Like some of the humor with Johnny Cage, there was times where I thought it was funny. There was other times where I was like, this is a little too cheesy for me. So the humor was kind of like it was hit with miss in this movie for me. There was times where I thought it was funny. There was other times where I'm like, not this is like not landing for me humor wise. And and like I said, I think some characters like Shane Khan and characters like even Sub Zero, who becomes like a completely new character in this, I felt like his character could have been like given more to do in this. And Scorpion, he's only in the beginning and like end of the movie, so his character doesn't get a whole lot to do in this movie. I like to have seen more Scorpion. So like some characters, I do feel like are short chains in this movie, and then other characters I feel like do get the moments to shine. So those are the negatives. Like those holes you can definitely point out with the plot of this movie. The plot's pretty simple. The tone is all over the place. And since it is going from one location to another at times in this movie, the story gets a little like flimsy. So I can totally understand somebody watching this and finding holes with the plot. Like this movie is definitely flawed, and I can understand why this movie has like a 60 something percent with critics and why this has I think in the 80s audience score wise. Like I can see more comic fans having a lot of fun like with this movie like I did. We're loving it, and I can also understand why people who didn't grow up with the games will probably come out of this going like it's okay. I totally understand that, and I definitely think there's flaws you can point out in this movie. When it comes to positives with this movie, I think overall the cast do a good job. I like everybody in their roles out. I would say the standout in this movie will be Kano and Katana for me personally. Kano I thought was the funniest. Like he was a standout in the first movie when it came to him being the funniest character. I think he's just really funny in this. And I would say Blanca, the character with Blanca who Blanca, yeah, Baraka. That character with the like long like knife thing coming out of his hands. I think the friendship between him and Johnny Cage is actually really funny and fun in this movie. I did enjoy the friendship between Baraka and Johnny Cage in this movie. Like I thought that was a fun little friendship, and there was some funny moments with those two characters. And I think Johnny Cage and Kano had some funny moments too, like the banter between them. And then the actor who plays Sean Khan, the main villain of this movie, you don't get too much into his backstory. I think he's a great physical threat in this movie, though. Like, I love how he looks in this movie. Like, he's really big and imposing, and he comes off imitating to me, which I thought they did a great job with Sean Conn in this movie. Like, no offense to the actor who played the Sean Conn character in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I thought he was terrible in that movie. I mean, I don't think anybody was really all that great in that movie. And just overall, I wasn't a fan of just how he never came off like to me imposing or like imitating to me in that Mortal Kombat Annihilation. The character he just came off kind of over the top and goofy to me. This to me is a much better interpretation of Sean Connery when it comes to the look of the character, the armor, and everything. Just love the look of the character, and I think overall he gave off a just. I think he just, even though he's not like the most complex villain in this, I think he just came. I think he did a good job of coming off imposing and feeling like a threat. And then I would say Katana's the heart of this movie. Like to me, I would say she has the most emotional story in this movie, and I would say like I would say her and Johnny Cage are the leads of the movie. I would say she has the more emotional story in the movie, and I would say Johnny Cage probably I would say gets the most I would say character development in this movie when it comes to this. He starts out as this washed up guy who finds his confidence again later on in the movie. So I do think like him and Katana, I would say are the main leads of the movie. I would say Katana is the emotional part of the movie though, and I really liked her story. And I actually think I do think one thing this movie has over the '90s movie is I think Katana was used better in this. Where I like the fact she was a bigger part of the story in this movie, and I think the actress does a great job playing Katana. I do think there's some nice emotional moments with her character, and I like the character. I think it was Jade, which was kind of like the sister to Katana. I liked her character too. I thought they like I bought them as like sisters, and overall I liked her character too. So I thought she did a good job. And then, like I said, there's some characters that don't get a whole lot, like Quinn Chin. His character I felt like didn't really get a whole lot to do in this movie. So that's why I said some characters I do feel like are short chains in this movie. While some characters I do think get some good moments. And the two things is first is from the first movie is that it actually is about the tournament in this movie. I do the only negative I have towards the tournament in this movie is that it does kind of feel like an afterthought in this movie at times. Like it feels more like a background thing. Like it's there, and then you have this stuff going on in between the rounds. So it does feel like the tournament at times feels a little bit like a background. While the '90s movie, I think to me the tournament just felt a little bit more in the forefront. I do like the fact though this movie actually has a tournament though. And the fact you actually focus on a character from the video game, not like an original new character. So overall, I thought this was just a fun movie. Again, you can poke holes in this movie. It's a flawed movie plot wise. There's not I can't even say there's a whole lot of character arcs in this movie. At the end of the day though, as a big Mortal Kombat fan, I just had a fun time with this movie. It is cheesy. You know, the Wisdom Eyes movie was cheesy also, and if you're somebody who didn't grow up with the games, I don't think you're gonna have as much fun with this. I would also say this: it's not a movie I would call great. Like it's not one of those movies I can sit here and say, "Oh man, I would go back and see this a second time in theaters." Like it's not one I'm gonna like own physically. It's not like the '90s movie where I loved it. I go back and constantly watch it. I think it's worth checking out once still. It's like to me one of those type of movies where I'll go check out at theaters once if you're looking for just a fun over the top cheesy action movie. Or if you're a Mortal Kombat fan, I think you're gonna have a fun time with this. And I do think this is an improvement over the first movie. I think they took all the negatives with that first movie and they improved on it. Also, the action I think is better in this movie. Like to me, the standout action scene is Liu Kang and Kyle Lao, which I think is the best action scene in the movie. To me, that's the standout action scene. Most of the action I think is better in this movie than the first movie. Like overall, I thought this was the action was solid with the Liu Kang and Kyle Lau being the really standout action scene in the movie. So at the end of the day, I had a fun time with Mortal Kombat 2. I do think this is an improvement over the first movie. And if they did a third one, I would be interested to check out a third one. It wouldn't be like something where I'd be like, oh man, I can't wait to see a third Mortal Kombat movie to these new ones. Overall, though, I would recommend go check out the theaters if you're a Mortal Kombat fan. Or if you're somebody who's into like cheesy over the top action movies, I would say go check it out at the theaters. Until next time, movie fans.